Hi there guys, it's Mike from MCQ Bushcraft here, and I'm just out shooting a video today. And in this video I wanted to show you a backpack that I bought about a month and a half ago and have been using for a month and a half. It's a pack that's really no stranger to the bushcraft community out there, and a lot of people use them and recommend them, and they're incredibly cheap, so they're perfect for beginners. But you can buy them for probably under £20. They're very robust, they're ex-military, and you can usually get them unissued for about £15, and you can make a couple of changes to them that will really just bring them into their own and make them an incredibly versatile backpack that's actually comfortable for heavy loads and long treks. And those were the changes I wanted to show you today. So I have the pack just here in front of me, and this is the pack that I've been running with for about a month and a half. And you can see it's a military backpack, a Swedish backpack, and it's got a steel frame coated in a sort of plasticky coating there to stop it corroding. And this pack is a Swedish LK50, and there's a variety of different packs in that kind of category. There's an LK35 and an LK70 as well, which is a lot bigger than this. The LK70 is quite a popular one, and you can buy them in canvas or leather, or in a slightly more modern materials like I've got here, which is like a ballistic nylon. And you know, I really went for this simply because in the damp conditions I'm in, it just really suits me better to have a pack that's going to withstand that moisture, and a canvas and leather pack. Although it's lovely and it's nice and traditional, it probably just won't be as practical from where I'm coming from. You'll see there that this has two side pouches, and these are not standard. These are two modifications that I've made, and I've hand stitched these on with some very strong 0.75mm polyester thread. Just along the edges there, I can still put my hands down, so I can still put an axe down the side if I really want to, or tuck any kind of thing in, or my folding 410 actually slips down there, which is quite nice. But if the inner compartments are very full, it will not slip down there, so I have to strap it along the top or along the bottom. You can see that the pouch is done up by these adjustment buckles here, and I quite like this because it allows you to really overfill the top of the pack if you wish, and you can really pack it out, so you can get a bit more literage there off of the pack. But these come undone there, and the pack opens up, and you have like a hatched lid that just fits down. Doesn't seal in any other way. There are no zips, there are just buckles and these very strong straps. And if we follow these straps down to the bottom, you'll see there that they go underneath these little bits of molle there, and you can completely take them off. And I often strap a wool blanket underneath here. You can even fit an entire sleep system underneath there, and it wouldn't be too hard to increase the length of these straps even more to put something even bigger on there. So the pack comes with quite a lot of versatility in carrying things on the outside, and the same goes for the lid, which we'll have a look at the moment. If you look at the base just here, you'll see a small loop, and that small loop can be used in conjunction with this here at the top. I can take my axe and slide it down and strap it on through here. I can even have quite a large axe as well, like a 26-inch felling axe down there. Even a shovel or something along those lines can be put through. If we have a look at the lid there, you'll see that the lid has strapping on as well. And again, really generous in the amount of straps you get, and these can be easily increased. So you could have an entire sleep system on top. There's a lot of capabilities for carrying things on the outside. You just have to bear in mind that if you're in damp conditions like me, some things will need to go in dry bags. You can see before we get in the inside, we've got this sort of adjustment tab here, which is quite strange, but it does work. And it's like a wedge, so you pull that and then wedge the piece of metal down, and it won't go any further. Take the wedge out, and there it is. So it's simple, but that's not going to fall apart on you. It's studded together and it's made of steel, so it's fairly good quality. Going inside the pack, you can have a water bladder in there. You can see it's got a fairly large elasticated area there to put a water bladder. I've put some foam in mine and around the edge, and it just helps stop things pushing into the side of the nylon and puncturing them if I really overload the pack. But also this piece of foam doubles up for me as a pillow when I'm out camping, and also when I'm kneeling down to save my knees getting battered on the cold ground. So I usually have it lined along the outside to do a variety of jobs. but you can see it's got quite a lot of space in it, and you can fit a fair amount in there. You know, it is a bucket pack, so you do need to organise things in your own manner. It's not compartmentalised unless you start putting a ton of pouches on the side of it, but provided you don't mind that, it's an excellent pack. If you turn the pack around, you can see the steel frame, and attached to that steel frame are these straps here, which are just threaded around the steel frame and around the base as well. And the nice thing about that is you can change these if you wish. You can buy padded ones and replace them with that. I don't really see the requirement for padded ones once you put this waist belt on, because all of the weight sits on your hips just above your bum, and it's very, very comfortable. And these, all these really do is just keep the pack flat to your back. They don't really pull down on you, so it's a very nice balanced pack, and I will load it up and show you in a moment. One thing I should mention about these adjustment straps is they're very user friendly. You just pull them like this to tighten them and grab this tab to loosen, so they can be loosened very, very easily without sort of having to faff around with unthreading any of this webbing out. But if we loosen these up and get them out of the way, we'll just take a look at this blast belt here, or this kidney belt. This is a US kidney belt. You can pick these up off eBay for a fiver, sometimes £4. And if we look at the frame, you can see at the bottom where that U is, there's like a triangular piece just there that these straps attach to for the main straps on the backpack, and various other things hook around it as well to keep the pack against the frame. But when I first got this and this blast belt came with it, the blast belt was up here just wrapped around the bars, and it could slip up and down, and it really was in the wrong place for my body. I needed it to be lower because I needed it to actually rest on my hips and for the full weight to be on my hips. To make that happen and to keep it sturdy and to actually almost have it facing down at an angle like that, you have to pull the blast belt through these triangles on either side like this. You can see it a bit clearer on that one. And then on the inside you can either tie them together, because the blast belt comes with these D-rings here that, you know, you can pull through, and I've just used some of the excess webbing I got with the pack to actually thread them through, and overall that's just transformed this pack. I mean, the pack alone is brilliant and they are very comfortable, but once you add that, you can really start utilising the 50 litre load and so on with the pack, and it's fantastic. These pouches here have been stitched on fairly simply. These are Swedish webbing pouches. You can get these off eBay for about £9 for two, and it comes with a complete webbing set as well and a water bottle holder, and they're of a very, very good quality, the same quality as the pack. And you know, we can pop one of those open. You can see I've got a little med kit there, torch and a hygiene kit at the base, and that always really stays in there. I don't need to bother with that. And the thing about a comfortable pack is you can leave it full and go for a walk with it and not really notice the weight, which is ideal. And you don't have to unpack before day trips, and just makes everything a lot more you know, convenient in that respect. But these pouches are plastic backed, so they've got a hard sheet of plastic in the back of the pouch, and that's one thing to bear in mind. The thread I've used is 0.75mm polyester thread, which is generally used or marketed at leather stitching, and I've dyed it black with a Sharpie. So after I've stitched the white thread through, I've just held the Sharpie against it. You can wet the thread first, hold the Sharpie against it, and it'll absorb all the ink and make it black. And I always do the front first, so match the front with that seam, and the back should then taper up at a slight angle, getting wider at the back. And you can just get this same setup off of eBay for a very, very cheap price, and it just means you can have a med kit there and some tools there, or even a little bit of food on a day hike, and it's all really just about convenience. But let's put it on, see how it looks. So if I put this on first of all, you'll see the main straps are very, very loose because they're so easy to loosen. So if you've done them up quite tight, you can just pull these tabs and they just come undone. But without the actual waist belt, it's still a very, very comfortable pack. You know, it still sits very well, but obviously a lot of the weight is on the shoulders. So if you start really overloading the pack for maybe you're going out for a week or something along those lines, it's going to get quite uncomfortable for long walks. but this waist belt will really really transform that, and I usually just get that up right, and you'll see there that suddenly all the weight has disappeared from my shoulders to the point where I can loosen the pack, and the pack should pivot just above my bum there. So you can see there it's just pivoting, and these straps are really just keeping the pack against my back, and I've got a great deal of space. So even with all this bulky warm gear on that I've got on today, I've walked a couple of miles out here, I've not been sweating too much, but mind you, it was at a fairly steady pace. So that blast belt really transforms it. You can see it's really holding that on there, and then I just tighten these up a little bit, I'll just loosen them slightly, and it just keeps everything kind of linear, so it's not pulling me backwards like that. There we go. So an amazingly comfortable pack, not too wide either. It's not much wider than me really, apart from them side pouches come past my arms a bit, and very, very impressed with it. Had it really loaded up, and most of the people I've been out with, I've sort of shown it to, have put it on and gone, blimey, I didn't expect it to be that comfortable. But do notice that I'm about 5'10", I'm a fairly slim guy, and you've got these bars along the back of the frame. If you've got a full-on massive back on you and you're built like a brick, then these bars might stick into you and they might be uncomfortable. So it's certainly not a one pack fits all. If you're around about my size, then you sort of average build, then it'll probably fit you very, very well. And if you do the mod down the bottom there, you'll be really pleasantly surprised, and it'll be a good pack. So do think about that. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and this little take on the LK50. One thing I should actually mention before I end the video is a lot of the LK50s and LK35s get mixed up, and some of them get sold as 50s, some get sold as LK35s, because the packs look really similar and I think they're mounted on the same frame. So sometimes you can buy an LK50 and you get a 35. If you're sort of buying off of eBay and things like that, then you might just want to double check. Usually you get a date stamp in the top lid made by Haglofs, who make the pack, and if you've got the Haglof stamp and the date stamp in the top of the lid of your LK50, and it's generally an LK50 because those are the people who manufactured them. This is what I've read anyway. There's a lot of discussion on it on forums and things, so you might want to do your homework before you do a buy. But the LK35 is still a great pack with the same capabilities, just slightly smaller, and you can obviously compare them side by side online and sort of have a look at which one you want. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Just thought I'd show you this pack and the mods I've done, because obviously if you're new out there to Bushcraft and you're looking for a pack, you're looking at all these expensive backpacks out there, it's not necessary. Something like this will do you just fine. So take care, and hopefully I'll see you in another video. Cheers, guys.